Battle Line Podcast. We are here in Fort Scott, Kansas at the Fort Scott Munitions store with the one and only Ryan Kraft, owner of Fort Scott Munitions, and Phil Otto.
Owner of
Photonis
Defense. Are you the owner?
No.
I know.
Sales manager. Sales manager for Photonis Defense.
Sales manager, GRS extraordinary, Marine. We will forgive him for that shit.
Yeah.
And this is the first time, Chris, that we've done something together not in store. We were in studio before since episode 1, and first time that we've done it filming video.
Well, that's because you live in New York, dude. You know I don't live in that damn cesspool place. Come on, man.
At some point, you got to come back out.
You know what? One of these days, New York is a fun place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there ever, unless it's northwestern New York.
I'll
in that
come
area.
out. But with that, we have great sponsors, of course, Photonis Defense and Fort Scott Munitions. But one of our other great sponsors, not here with us in the room, is NED. 70 million Americans have chronic sleep issues, and 50% of Americans deal with sleep deprivation. You've probably dealt with this at some point in your life, and I know how difficult it could be. One of our favorite brands, NED, is here to help you with the incredible new product, Shut Eye Chai. It's inspired by 5,000 years of ancient healing tradition, and it's NED's biggest product launch to date. It's a mellow super blend latte for sleep that combines adaptogens, aminos, functional mushrooms, and magnesium. Seriously, the best ingredients out there wrapped in a heavenly masala chai inspired spiced body. Think cinnamon, clove, ginger, all that good stuff. It's natural, made exclusively from functional botanicals, fungi, herbs, plants, minerals, roots, and spices, and full transparency. So even though this is not a CBD product, for our people in law enforcement, in the Army that have to drug test, they could actually take this product from NED and not have any worries.
It works. They sent me some, and I've tried it. It's spicy, guys. I ain't gonna lie. It's cinnamony. You're gonna taste the cinnamon, and there's a little bite to it. But you know, it actually is really good, and it does work. It just calms you down. It's just like drinking hot tea at night, but it's better for you.
Yeah.
You know? But I said, just that first little bit. I think the first time you take CBD oil too, you'll feel that little I don't know, that pine taste. If you take good CBD oil, you get used to it. The chai too. First time I took a sip, yeah, there's some bite to it. There's some cinnamon in there. You're gonna taste it, but after that first sip, it was good to go. And it did work. Works very well.
Yeah, so check it out, guys. They share third-party lab reports who farms their products and their extraction process. Once again, does not contain CBD. And NED's products help us all perform better in terms of our daily functioning. Doing this where we need to be sharp and, interviewing people. So check them out. Discover how Shut Eye Chai can revolutionize your sleep and get 15% off with code BATTLELINE. That's helloned.com/BATTLELINE, or enter BATTLELINE at checkout, HELLONED.com/BATTLELINE to get 15% off. Sweet dreams.
From Omaha, Nebraska to New York City, from planet Earth to extraterrestrial life in space, a podcast with no equal, engaged in unconventional warfare through your speakers and headphones. This is a show about embracing the suck, conquering your demons, and finding God in the face of adversity. Chris Tonto Peranto.
Switch is on, motherfucker, I'm gonna shoot you in the face.
Ian Scotto.
Ian and I have been dating for a long time.
You are now tuned into the Battle Line Podcast.
The Switch is on, Battle Line Podcast. Once again, we're here with Ryan Kraft and Phil Otto. And you know what? I actually want to start with you, Ryan, when we get into everything. I was speaking with Phil at the house, and we were talking about how you brought your own night vision because you didn't yet invest in Photonis. And I think people would like to hear your story of the difference between other night vision with
You're
what
not using
Photonis is
Photonis
doing.
night vision?
So
You
yeah,
sinner. What's wrong with you? I didn't know that.
no, that was the fun of it. And Phil had to go and run it because I was running ATNs that I've had forever, and I really didn't want to spend money. And he kept selling me on it and showing me all the different features and stuff.
That's why you're the sales
And
manager.
I was getting to the point that
let him
there's
use
a
it.
laser aiming at me. Hi Ryan. There's
You got the laser on.
I was getting to the point I was having to lie just to give this guy crap.
And then you got the laser on you, so now you got to tell the truth. You gotta tell the truth. The laser's on you.
Ryan's not letting me lie no more. But anyways, no, it started out real great in the training, and everything was blurry. And not to bash ATN, it's an older model, but yeah. And once I used those, two things I noticed: visibility was way better, as far as not just clarity, but like I could see a lot wider. But then also the clarity was better, and I could see wider as well. And then it was lighter, so I actually had to take counterweights out of my counterweight just to run my helmet. And normally I get migraines. I was telling you that last night.
I do too.
But I could leave the Photonis down with the off switch flipping
Yeah,
it
just
to the
flipped up, so
side.
you didn't have to keep.
Yeah,
pumping. That's
so
a big, good
my head's
feature.
heavy, and then it's balanced, and my head's.
That is
heavy.
the biggest thing that one of
I
the biggest
love it.
advantage, and that's the smallest things that when you're getting into fine tune and you're getting the just things that can be a little bit better on technical gear like this. Because as the generations get more, and I learned a lot about the generation PowerPoint too. We can talk about that, but and how much money you can save if you know what the heck you're looking for. But just the little microscopic things like that make it better. And and even if the ATN tube and the Photonis tube were the same clarity, same visual acuity, which they aren't. Photonis is better. ATN, you hate me if you want. That's just the truth. But just that little thing like that, being able to keep it down where you don't have to continually flip it up, it saves your neck. It saves your head. Like I said, I get migraines too. That's a huge difference, especially when you're wearing that thing for 3 hours last night, or if you're on ops and you're on an op all night for your military and DoD guys.
That's the longest I wore nods without troubles.
And it is. It's a huge benefit, just being able to not have to flip it up and just put them out, so you can actually put your white light on, and you're not going to not going to burn your tubes out. And it saves that muscles in your neck.
It does. And what I like about your class is that you'll take guys that if they show up and they're more beginner, and then you got expert guys, you tailor it to each dude. Of course. But some of the beginner guys were running their white lights a lot, and I was like, oh crap, I'm going to burn these things out. And it was quicker to flip it out than to flip it up. So that, you can protect your gear better as well. So I love them, and the fact that I felt like I was running $12,000-$13,000 nods, and they're in the $6,000 range, that's phenomenal.
And for you all that don't know night vision, if you're working good night vision, that you're gonna spend money for. That's just how it is. So you can't get away from that.
That's a crazy deal for those quality of tubes, and that's the Viper, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And Phil is very outspoken. That's
Well, I should
You guys do all the talking. I don't even say anything.
I love them.
I should remind the audience who Phil is. So you guys have heard Phil before on episode 101, and then we did 119 at SHOT Show. So beyond just being beyond just being his position at Photonis, the sales manager, Phil's a retired Marine Corps sergeant, police officer, CIA defense and intelligence contractor, and private sector security analyst. The thing, and I don't even know if we said in the intro, we're at the Fort Scott store in Kansas. So if you're in Kansas, you got to come out here. This is great. But I was wondering from you, when we spoke to you on 101, we got into some CIA stories, some Marine Corps stuff. How did you get really fascinated with the whole night vision thing? Because this is something you truly have a passion for.
Oh, gosh. Well, I would say it wasn't a passion to begin with. It's
you
just
needed a job, didn't you? I know.
for
Just
the
to
most
be
part.
honest, you just
Right?
needed a
Yeah.
job.
No, it was. I was already within the sales realm
Well, yeah,
of
because
similar gear.
You're doing a lot of law enforcement.
Yeah,
I spoke
so-
at a conference where you were actually there repping.
Yeah, because you were the
Yeah,
speaker.
Indiana
and,
State
yeah,
Police, Indiana
yeah.
State Patrol. Yeah.
So when I thought it was time to, I guess spread the wings and do something a little bit different, this was still in line with, you know, what I know how to do and understand that customer base, but also knowing the product and have used that product in real applications and not just for hobby. You know, it kind of positions you well to promote and sell the product. And it's night vision, so honestly, it's just cool shit, right? I mean, there's no other way around it. Without, you know, if I didn't work for Photonis, I wouldn't have night vision, right? So there's some perks to it.
There's
So now I
perks,
got plenty of night vision.
Well, spread the
yeah.
wealth, man. What's going,
Right.
what's going on? I got three
No,
guys
that's why
over
I was
here.
giving you so much crap, because I
Yeah.
didn't want to justify it, and now it's not only justified, I have to buy it, and because I
Well,
mean
you
it's
have
that
to.
much of a difference.
Yeah.
But and he's in shock too, because I've done nothing but giving crap all weekend, saying I'm
Right.
not going to do it. So now that he hears the true side of the story,
Well, you know, it's one of the superpowers you can actually go and buy
yes,
that you read about in comic books. I mean, it literally is just about that.
It really
You know,
is.
and all night, literally, I'm like, yeah, but if I let my eyes adjust and this and that, and we're only like 10 yards from the targets, and
Right.
everybody's got chem lights on and stuff, so I'm like, okay, I bet I can see, and I'll flip them up. Dang it, and put them back down.
And we had pretty decent illumin last
I don't
night
want
too.
to spend that much money, but like you said, it's a superpower, so now I have
You
to.
want and talk about because
Stupid.
you and you know
You're selling
and,
water in the desert.
It's a good analogy right there.
Yeah.
Well, you know, with our with Gage here that's filming and yourself, you guys hunt a lot too, and so I think people think it's night vision if you're not. If you don't live in the Midwest, you don't live in Colorado, you don't do a lot of hog hunt, or you don't live in Texas and you don't do a lot of
Yeah.
hog hunting. Like, well, why do I need night vision? Why do I need? Well, if you are an avid hunter and you are an avid hog hunter, that's a big thing going on nowadays. He's
Yeah.
going out there and shooting with night vision and lasing those things up and hogs, guys, hogs are a problem here. So don't think that
Huge.
you ASPCA people out there that are hating us for that don't. They tear
Are they
us
really
up.
listening to Battle Line podcast?
If they,
though?
well, if they are,
Yeah.
if we get one. You never know. We might get one or two.
Yeah.
Dude, trolls are everywhere.
That is true.
We get emails too.
But, you know, I think with you, Ryan, and we can talk about the tactical aspect of it, but I think with you here, you know, talking about to hunters, because we do have a lot of hunters that watch the show too.
Well,
and
Yeah, we do.
advantage of
people,
using
the
night
hunters are
vision
immediately
hunters.
like thermal.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, thermal's not what you think it is, because if the trees are hot or the sun was out, like you're
Yeah.
sitting there constantly dinking with your sensitivity. And I've tried using it for like trainings and hunting, and like I get irritated at thermal, and you can't drive your Jeep in the dark
yeah,
with the thermal.
yeah.
on.
Yeah,
You're-
thermal normally isn't dynamic unless
Yeah.
you spend a very large amount of money. The latency
And do
with that
civilians
digital
even have
sensor
access
to the
that?
screen.
Do civilians have access to
Yeah.
that advanced
They
thermal? Or is that
do,
DOD?
but it's
No,
like
thermal
he's
is
saying
very
it's
affordable
expensive,
now.
and it's more limited than night
Right,
vision.
but it's
a lot
you
more
know it's a
limited.
tighter window. It's the application or the use of that thing is a lot more narrow than night vision, like you mentioned. You can you're not going to drive on thermal because well, number one, you can't see through glass, right? But yeah, no, thermal is an outstanding tool, but it's and so is night vision, but thermal's a lot more limited, narrow use item. But when it applies, it really applies.
It does, and but just last year or 2 years ago, I'll look at Gage because he knows better than I do. Was it 2 years ago they legalized night vision
Look at his
hunting for
face.
coyotes in Kansas?
Gage is always excited. That's
Yeah.
he is smiling.
That's-
That's when he's smiling. He is. And you, bro, you're welcome to chime in too because you know a lot about. You're an avid hunter.
Oh, yeah.
You know a lot about infrared lasers. You do.
You use it more than I do.
You do, and so even though you may not be on the screen, and we'll hear you.
You want to switch me for a minute?
Yeah,
Give your 2 cents on it.
But yeah, you,
Yeah.
there you go. Switch. Just
I'll come back. I'll come
stay
back.
right there.
Okay.
No, this is a good perspective from like the hunting
Yeah,
perspective
I
because
think-
Gage uses
So this
both.
is Gage who does media
Gage
for
Wilson
Scott.
Media, but this dude is a hunter extraordinaire. He is, and a lot of the hunting videos that you see on Fort Scott or on the YouTube, it's Gage, and it's not just Gage filming; it's Gage out there actually planking the hogs,
Yeah.
man. So
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your 2 cents on that.
Yeah, so when it comes to the night vision aspect of it, so navigation is a huge thing when it comes to hunting. Like your number one goal is to be undetected when it comes to the hunting world. So, like Ryan said, when you're trying to drive, do whatnot, trying to get to these hogs, pigs, coyotes, whatever you're hunting.
Coyotes, there's another one. Big
Yeah.
coyote, yeah.
Again, you're trying to stay undetected, so a great way to do that and get places fast is drive under nods. And like you guys were saying, can't see through glass with thermals. So, but yeah, that's a great place where nods come into great use. The setup I like to do is run thermal on one side and night vision on the other to kind of get the best of both worlds.
That's awesome. You run 2 single tubes as far as?
That is a way. That is a
weapon?
great way to be able to get best of both worlds with
awesome.
thermal and night vision. But I'm working on that, Phil. We need to have a talk.
We got development.
yeah.
He gets residuals. You know that from any development. He's right here, man.
Well, no, I think
we have it
he's-
on recording, so just know that it's there.
Yeah, well, I think he's adding another tool to the box, right?
Yeah.
I think he's.
But no, night vision.
Yeah.
There's so many options out there to be able to make it work for you, and Photonis is one of the go-tos for night vision purposes.
You know what I was going to ask both of you guys, both Chris and Phil? You both have the CIA background, the military background. I assume during the 90s at some point you were using night vision.
Oh yeah,
Like,
your 7 Delta. We had the old
We had a
7
guy.
Deltas. We had
there's 2 guys at the course with him.
the old
With the old
monoculars.
style that
and-
we
yeah.
would've
So I mean, I
Yeah.
assume the technology is just worlds beyond. Like, I would love for you
Yeah.
guys to get into the difference. There's probably someone listening who hasn't been in the military in 20, 30 years, and they don't know the difference
I think the
between
biggest
night
thing-
vision in 2022 versus 1992.
Well, 7 Deltas were the big thing when I was in the 90s. That was the 14s were the new and the
Yeah.
monocular ones. The 7 Deltas are we call them the Cyclops. It's a big ass piece. You'll see them in a lot of the old movies. Even the old Predator, like the old Arnold Schwarzenegger movies,
Yeah.
and the Deltas, big old box. You know what? If you watch Step Brothers, you'll see what that big old Cyclops is, and they're heavier than shit. I went to Ranger School with 7 Deltas, and even though we had 14s, we had to wear those because they sucked. They were awful. They were heavy. You couldn't see shit. You're right here. When you fall, it basically stamps you in the head. And the biggest thing, not just because of the weight and the ability, you couldn't just flip them up. They were so difficult to use. Pixelation. I mean, you were seeing what the little hexagons when you're looking at them. What do you call them?
Chicken wire?
The little chicken. Well, exactly.
Yeah.
You're seeing the chicken wire where that's done and gone now. And that's that's how old I am, guys, too, in the 90s. So when you went to the 14s, that was the new stuff. But then we're doing the greenish hue, and then going from analog to digital and all that other stuff, just the acuity, the visual acuity improved greatly to now where I'm saying now a lot of these night vision companies have astounding visual acuity, whether you're doing white phosphorus or whether you're doing the other. Help me out with the other terminology, brother.
Well, we still have green phosphor
Green phosphor.
image tubes, but white phosphor by far is commercially and government-wise what is purchased the most. I mean,
And
without a doubt.
it is better. It's easier to see. We had
there's
white
a lot
phos.
of-
We had white phos when we were working with the agency. Just later.
I
over
started off with
2010.
green.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like any technology, any electronic, all that stuff gets better at a time. You end up squeezing more and more performance out of the same thing. Like a lot of the image tube, which is the engine of night vision, conceptually that has not changed from
Yeah. it really
80s, 90s to now. It's the same, conceptually what it does, what it is. Now, the manufacturing processes, those things have evolved, and we've been able to produce those components within the tube, better, more efficiently, and squeeze a little more performance out of it. So, yeah, you got higher resolution, you've got higher signal-to-noise ratio, which basically
Now
means how well it performs at night.
Explain that signal to noise ratio, because when people think
Yeah.
signal to noise, if they don't know night vision, they think, why are we talking about how loud shit is? That doesn't make no sense. What do you mean loud?
Well,
I don't hear it.
signal-to-noise
Hear it?
ratio, is the image you see from an image intensifier tube is the ratio of, I'll call it interference or static versus the ratio of the image. So the higher that SNR or signal to noise is, the better image you're going to have when it's dark. And the darker it gets, those higher SNR image tubes will perform better than a lower SNR. And that is usually perceived on the human end with a sparkling effect the darker it gets. So, yeah, I don't know how much more.
Well, no, but if-
I think that's pretty simple
So
to
in
understand as far
layman
as
terms, you can just see it. When the darker it gets, you're going to be able to
The
see.
higher the SNR, the better the tube is generally. Now, you will normally see FOM, figure of merit, as a rating
Learn that, yeah, learn all those
to
cool
judge an
terms.
image too quickly on performance, but higher FOM does not necessarily mean a better picture at night than a lower FOM, because there's two numbers
And
that
that's something
make that
I
FOM.
learned yesterday in our class, and we'll have another one in Tulsa at Kiefer's place at Iron Gal at Eddie's
Yeah.
place, doing another night vision
Yep.
class. I didn't realize that that's what we need to look at as an SNR, that signal. Not when I'm looking at specs and you're going to buy, going to go out and buy it, spend a lot of money.
That would be the
It's an
most
investment.
important. That'd be the
But
first
yeah,
number
you
I'd look at.
Because
Yeah.
and you're like you said last night, sometimes those SNR tubes are less a better SNR are less expensive.
well, a
Or, I'm sorry,
lower- a
lower
lower
FOM. I'm sorry, FOM.
could give you a better result for headborne systems. And then, like every other tool, your particular application will make certain measurements more important to you than others. But for general headborne, unmagnified use, SNR is going to be your best number to go by.
So what do they need to look when they're buying? Like I said last night, we had a great, and like I said,
Well, generally, FOM will get you going the right direction on grading a tube. But as far as the value for the money, a 28 SNR and higher will do most everything the average person is going to want to do, whether it's stargazing, hiking, hunting, marksmanship training, tactical training, all of
I was
that.
wondering, around what year do you think things really changed for night vision, where you said this is the old
gosh.
school night vision and now we're in a whole new world?
Well, Gen 1 to Gen 2, back probably late 70s, early 80s, when they, I think I'm correct on the date. Somebody's going to be out there and know better than I do. But
Write it in the comments
The
section.
introduction of the microchannel plate into the image tubes really was the greatest leap, because that actually amplified available photons / electrons. Before that, you were only able to illuminate or utilize what was around you. When the microchannel plate was introduced, that really increased usable electrons by the thousands. And that's the first jump that happened. And then after that, going to Gen 3 and then some other things that are happening is more chemical recipes and manufacturing processes that made the next jump. And that's basically just improving from the Gen 1 to Gen 2 jump.
But like you said yesterday, sometimes that Gen 4 is not necessarily a better tube than a Gen 3, depending on what the SNR
well,
and what the noise ratio is. Or did I miss?
Gen-
or did I
well,
need to take the
no,
class
no,
again?
you got the
'Cause
right.
I completely screwed up.
You're smelling what I'm putting down.
I got you.
but
I always smell a lot of. I smell my own stuff when I put down. a lot of times.
generation is not a mark of performance.
Gosh,
So
that was what I took out of
It's
class.
a
previously.
marketing term.
No, and that's what I took out of the course.
And that's
it's
what
a
you taught
DoD.
me.
It's a DoD controlled
Right.
terminology. So U.S. Army at Fort Belvoir.
But me as a civilian,
Yeah.
I know they have your farm and all that. But me as a civilian, whole time I'm like going up to this class, coming to this class, I'm like, please let my Gen 3s be equal to it. Or
Right.
at least close. If we can get with close, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And then, that was back when I first started talking to you, that was back when you still had the higher pricing ones. You guys hadn't come out with those. awesome
Yeah. We didn't have
Vipers.
Vipers yet.
Yeah,
Right.
and so now you're bringing these Vipers, and I'm like, okay, the Gen 3s have got to be close to it. And as soon as I put yours on, I was like, dang it. Like,
What I was wondering,
realize,
now I'm
yeah.
investing.
when you were talking 70s to now, like, when did things really change from when you guys were in the military in the 90s to now? When did the technology get to the point where what we're using today?
Well, I'd say the most in our time of application, it was really changed from white to green phosphor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just the manufacturing process improvements along those ways have just continued to raise FOM, which signal, noise, and resolution. Those things have gotten better, but the tube is the same as it was. It's just we've made that. Manufacturing is just making those better.
Awesome.
The Global Run Terror is when it started getting better. When guys we were actually
Using it.
Well,
not that
that
it wasn't
advances
just
quite a bit of stuff.
It wasn't just
Yeah.
the special operations troops that were going out and doing all these clandestine ops. It was big army. Now big army. Now just, and no offense to the regular Marine, but the regular infantry Marines. When they're actually going and they're doing some incredible ops in Fallujah.
We're still using flashlights, so.
They're like, holy shit, Delta comes in, or DevGroup comes in, or Red, or the Night Stalkers come in, and they're seeing, holy shit, these guys are using this cool stuff. We need, and it's going to improve your possibility of surviving.
Yeah.
It's like we need to get everybody this stuff, and that's when I saw the difference was in the 2000s, the Global War on Terror, where it was like, okay, it's not just the special ops troops that need this. We need everybody to have it, and it needs to be across the board. And we need to make it also, I would say, I don't say affordable, but more affordable. So if we're making just 6,000 compared to 6 million, big troops can have it.
Yeah.
Well, and Phil's so brutally honest. Like, I'm like, Phil, is it better than Gen 3? And he's like, well, you can't really compare it to Gen 3 and this and that. And I appreciate that about you a ton. But to a redneck hunter, when I went 1 and then 2, okay, it's better than Gen 3 by a long shot. And I can't speak the language. There are technicalities where there's certain different things.
All I hear is numbers.
Right, and it's like way over my head because I'm just now getting into night vision.
Yeah.
Well, and
For
that's
my
why
eyeballs,
your point of whatever your point of sale is in Fort Saskatchewan, your dealer is the talk with that entity, and they can kind of guide you and figure out what you're going to use that for the most, how you're going to use it, and then say, okay, if this is your price range, then this is your capability range, right? And then kind of get like a car salesman, right? What do you want to spend? And we're gonna upsell you, right? We're gonna add more 10K to that without a doubt. But
what car salesmen also do, though, is you have the opportunity to drive. What I saw. It
happens.
Test drive is nice too.
We have the opportunity to test drive. So,
Yeah.
and that's where you just basically test drive it at the range yesterday. You got a chance, and that's when I saw the difference
Military
too. Was
cares
that
about
was
the
that SHOT Show a couple years ago?
Right.
When, forgive me, Photonist boss. I know his name. I can't remember his name.
Larry Stack, yeah.
The head guy.
Yeah.
And we went in the back room there. It's not going the rate you think it is, guys. We were in the back.
I've been in that room too. You're okay.
And he said, "Well, try this and try and putting the two together, doing the Pepsi Coke challenge."
Yeah.
Like, you can tell me all the FOMs and SNRs and RSSP, CTs, and all you want in the world. Just let me look at them. Which one is better?
Right.
And
Yeah.
Gage is one of those number guys. He sat there and tried to explain it to me. I'm like, what are you doing?
It's like
But
just hand me what. I mean, look.
when I looked through them, I was like, there's a huge difference.
I think a lot of people on the sport.
At the end of the day, that's what matters.
Yeah.
But, and that's where his class yesterday with the
Right.
with the PowerPoint, even though how much I hate PowerPoints, just now understanding what those numbers mean and be like, wait a second, you mean
It makes more sense.
You mean we had the FOM, the SNR, and what was the bottom? We had another one.
Resolution.
Resolution. I always thought resolution was the best. It's like, well, we need to have the best resolution. That's going to be the best because to me, resolution is what I can see. And Ray's like, no, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
And guess what? If you're going for the best resolution, you're probably going to pay the most. So maybe paying too much for something that you could pay less for that's actually better for what you need. And
Well, and
that's why I think-
there's diminishing returns because at the end of the day, kind of what you were alluding to is the end user perception of what you're seeing. That's ultimate. Like the
Yeah.
paper has no bearing
Yeah.
on that. I don't know how many times I can go to a SWAT team or a military unit. They've never asked me for the data sheet of it too. Never, not once.
Yeah.
They say, let me see it. And that's how they decide to buy it.
That's cool.
So at the end of the day, whether it's a hunter, professional end user, that end user experience or perception is key. Now, if all you're going to do is do a web purchase on night vision, then yeah, you got to go buy paper. But paper doesn't mean anything unless you already know what that means on your end. So, the first time buyer or somebody that doesn't use it a lot, paper may not give you the right purchase
But if
decision.
I'm buying Photonis all the time now, and that's one I like, now I know if you come out with a new gen, I want the paper because now I know what the hell I'm looking at.
Yeah, and we'll get into that some more. I want to make sure that we do
Actually,
jump in
do you
here
have another chair?
to remind you guys. You're switching chairs. Go for it, man. So I want to make sure that we're jumping in here to talk about Fort Scott Munitions because we're right here in Kansas at the Fort Scott Munitions facility. Now, Fort Scott Munitions is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition that is designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with every pull of the trigger. Now, Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states. You can come out here to Kansas, go to the Fort Scott Munitions store. This is awesome. This is only one room you're seeing. They have so much here. You're going to love it if you ever come out here. Yeah, and I mean, look at if you're not watching the video on YouTube, check out what they've got here.
This is the Tonto Mecca, even though it's a small Mecca. If you want to come to the Tonto, you come to Fort Scott.
Yeah, come out
to
here,
the
guys.
shrine-
So
the shrine.
go to fsm.com if you're buying online and use the promo code BATTLELINE. That's exclusive to us for 15% off your order, whether that's shirts, hats, or, of course, ammo. And Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Battleline Tactical, Chris Peranto, and the podcast. And we've been speaking about this whole time, Photonis Defense. Now you can have the superpower to see in the dark with the Viper Binocular Night Vision System by Photonis Defense, which is the global leader in night vision solutions, providing more high-quality night vision capabilities than anyone. Military, law enforcement, and public safety end users utilize Photonis Defense solutions to give them the edge at night in tactical situations and rescue operations. Hunters, shooters, boaters, and enthusiasts can rely on the Photonis Defense Viper Binocular to help them become master of darkness. The new Viper Binocular system carries the same features and benefits as the Photonis Defense Viper Monocular with a ruggedized body and harnesses the power of the Echo Intensifier tubes, giving you sharper images, reduced halo, and industry-leading ultra-fast auto-gating across the range of dynamic operating conditions. Visit PhotonisDefense.com for more information or look for Photonis Defense product options from your night vision dealer. We're kind of taping this like it's live, so is everything okay, Gage? Are we good? Okay, cool. So,
Damn it, Jeremy, stop worrying.
as long
Gage's
as
got
we're good,
this.
you know what I wanted to make sure we get into? I mean, we spoke more about CIA and the Marines the first time you were on episode 101. We did get in some cool stories. Any good war stories we haven't covered from your CIA time, your Marines, any of that?
Well, once you put on the spot, it's hard to. Yeah, I don't know. My
I
time-
don't think we got into how did you guys link up?
We just happened to show up in Kabul at the same time, and
Pretty
I have no
much,
choice.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I'm riding with this guy named Otto. I don't know. What the fuck he is. But then when we went out, it was just we got along really well. Just getting out in town and doing what we were doing, and as you can tell, Phil doesn't get obviously spun up at all, which is odd for a Marine. It really is. He's very even keel, so it was always good to go out in town with them because it was
a lot of windshield time.
yeah, it's just you spend a lot of time with these, and you don't want to ride with a guy. And GRS, you don't want guys to get spun up quick. You don't want that. That's not what GRS is. If you want to do that, go to Ground Branch or go do something else. Stay in. You got to have guys that can turn it on. The switch is on, but in other times we're just driving around looking to where can we get a hamburger. Remember we had that hamburger place that American had that
coffee
cattle
or
company. Or go
something,
find a
yeah.
place to get coffee and just chill the hell out. McDonald's. Yeah.
It's usually, they've got a lot. Well, they used to have a lot of knockoff fast food chains. So it'd be
McDowell's?
McDowell's or whatever. It's probably a reference from an Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But it would be literally something like that. It'd be kind of Golden Arches and McDowell's. You get a hamburger there.
But
Yeah.
it's somebody that you could hang out with, you could ride, but he's still on. And you're still doing your job, but you're not, oh fuck, you're doing it, because you can't operate like that every day. And you don't want to operate like that, because honestly, when you're too high strung all the time, you miss stuff. You can be high strung for 3-4 hours, or if you're getting in a firefight, you can be high strung. But even then, you've still got to come down every once in a while. You got other guys you can kill. And that was where Phil worked in. He was a perfect fit for GRS, and a lot of the old GRS guys were like that. There wasn't a lot of.
Yeah, most everybody, they were pretty good people. It was a good group of folks. I mean, 99% of them, right? I mean,
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Who knows now? But back then, but yeah, I was.
What about, any police officer stories? You got to give us something juicy.
Well, the one I usually tell people, and I recently got out of the Marine Corps and I was a cop. And it was a Sunday morning. It was kind of got done raining the night before. And it was like a check the welfare call. Like a family hadn't heard from an elderly parent or family member for a while. And there's like, okay, send an officer over there, knock on the door, try to get some kind of response and say, hey, contact your family. They're worried about you. Well, pulled up to this house and knocked on the door a couple times, didn't get a response. So, you just walk around the house, just make sure everything appears in order. And as I was coming through the privacy fence and to get to the back, there's a clothesline that runs almost all the way across the yard, and there was a picnic table directly under it. And sitting there, it was just a big, hairy, wet mass. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Sasquatch or something?
No, it was a goddamn monkey. It was a chimp. It was like a chimpanzee or something sitting on a picnic table.
I can honestly say
I thought you were
did
gonna
not
say it was just
expect that.
some woolly guy wearing a furry jacket.
It was soaking wet. It had been out all night. It had a diaper on, and it had a dog run that it was tied to, and it looked pissed off. And I think I tried to talk to it. It didn't say anything. Didn't make any action. Like it was kind of miserable, right? But I guess the story was this guy owned this monkey, and he started getting ill and was not able to, let it out or take care of it. But his thing was he set it out because he wasn't able to take care of it or change its diaper or whatever, so he didn't want it to kind of mess the house up. But the guy wasn't dead. He was in here. He's just real sick. Wasn't elderly gentleman, but yeah, that was just a weird shit. You come around the fence door with a fucking monkey
What'd you do with
sitting
the
on
monkey?
it.
Did you put it in the car? Did you take him to the...
I think I was surprised. I really didn't do much of anything, but had I, been on my game, I probably would have, maybe seized the monkey for public good or some shit.
Adopted him as a service monkey.
I'd have it ride around with me.
Don't say that, because somebody's out. Somebody out there's going to go get a service monkey now. I'm going to be going through an airport with 8 million service dogs, and I want to see somebody with a damn service monkey. With that's going to happen now.
Well,
Don't-
We created it just now.
if he could ride with me, you could pull somebody over, go to one side of the car, the monkey could go to
Go
the
to the
other.
other side. Dude,
You
that would
talk
be
about
awesome.
catching somebody off guard.
It sounds like a cop buddy movie, as well.
It could be movie material. So
That's a good segue, because with you hunting and everything and the hogs, and I've seen some of your videos where you're in the middle of the feeder and the hogs are coming in, and is there any hog? Because hogs are fucking mean. Has you got any good hog where you about lost a leg or an arm or a ball or your penis or something where that hog almost chomped you? Because I know you crave that. You do crave, even though you're like this, you do crave that adrenaline. I know what's in you. I want a hog story, because I think that's a good monkey into the hogs. So that's for wet furry creatures.
Where do I start?
Give us one, and then we'll just have you on. We'll always do one gauge hog story whenever we're at Fort Scott.
Well, we were in Oklahoma. This isn't a crazy one, but it was just one of my ideas that kind of worked out for us.
One of my ideas. That was what I want to get to. Your
Yeah.
crazy ideas. Ryan tells me about something.
Yeah, we were in Oklahoma on a hog hunt, and I think we'd been there like a couple days, and we'd been doing like the basic hog hunting stuff: sit in a blind, sit on a feeder, wait for them to come to you. It gets boring after a while when you kill as many of them as we do and stuff. So we had seen these feeders, but they all have ladders going up to them.
Okay.
I'm like, well,
Just get up on the ladder.
Yeah.
Get up on the feeder. Yeah.
They don't look up.
in my mind,
don't.
what I thought was these pigs are so focused on food, they don't care to look up. I mean, why would they have a reason?
And
the corn's going to come down.
Can
so
they
there's
even
no
look
reason.
up? A hog can't look up very well anyway. Can
I don't know, but they didn't.
No. So I decided to get on this feeder, and I had a pistol. We were trying to get a pistol kill, so I had my 9mm H&K PP9.
That's his head right there.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, no
This
shit.
is
That's the
actually
head.
the pig right here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can take
Not the
pictures.
gentleman, the guy right here. Right here.
Not that one. This one.
That's cool. That's what makes. That's what makes us cool, man.
Yeah, we're actually live in the store.
In the store, we got customers go back and forth. Don't mind it. Don't mind him.
They're not paid actors.
Anyways, where were we? So, decided to get on this feeder because we have these pigs coming to the feeder. So I get on top of this thing. We actually filmed everything.
You filmed it. I saw. That's
Everything's
one. Yeah, I
YouTube
saw it on YouTube. Yeah.
So I'm on the speeder and actually have our buddy Todd Yogi with us, and all these pigs come running in, and we're probably 6-7 feet off of the ground, and they'll just run up under me, and I picked one of the largest ones out that I could, and shot him, dropped him right there, and that was.
I'm surprised you didn't Tarzan it and jump off with a
So
Bowie
that was
knife.
thought about. We
I
had thought
stabbed
about taking a spear, we're jumping off on top
doing
of
the
him
pred,
like
doing
that.
the the Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator thing, right?
Yes, but there was too many liability issues there, so we kind of.
No, it's not. He'll pay you.
He's
If you
making
get a leg built off, you get disability from FSM. Yeah.
But no, that was
But-
probably the most interesting one.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Well,
No,
I
it
know.
is.
I know we're limited on time because you guys have to go actually teach the second day of the night vision course. So I do have to ask Ryan, the founder or the owner of Fort Scott, what do you guys have on the horizon? Because this audience, after 3 years, is so familiar with Fort Scott. They love the ammo. We've had people on like Jason Piccolo who've switched over to Fort Scott ammo, and they're like, I feel the
Well, you
difference.
guys have
So-
developed, actually, you already have developed different calibers, like odd calibers that people have requested.
We're working that way, yeah. Sorry, I interrupted, but the pig is a perfect segue for it. Sorry, I'm too far away from the mic. But that 9 out of the pistol was the first ever evidence we've got that under 500 KE we're creating permanent wounds with temporary stretch.
What distance was that?
It was like right above him.
So what about?
He was standing on
5
the deer
feet?
feeder.
5 feet?
Yeah. And and on that note too, like we came out with 350 Legend. It's our same projectile as our 125 9mm, and it still tumbles the same depth. So like a 357 Magnum hollow point, it's designed for a rifle, it's gonna not function right in a pistol, and if it's designed, it's gonna not open up. And if it's designed for a pistol, when you shoot it out of a rifle, it's gonna over open up and under penetrate because it just hits so hard, it's so soft. Where the 350 Legend, it tumbles about at the same distance in ballistics gel. So yeah, we're coming out with 5.7 soon. We just came out with 30-06, and we're trying to get into a lot of the rounds that aren't just main commonplace.
One really cool round we have in the works, and may or may not be public knowledge, and I might get fired for this, is the 8.6 Blackout.
That
What in the
round
world is
is
that?
crazy.
Yeah.
Faxon came out with it.
What
So-
will it work in the 300?
It's a 338 Lapua and a 308 casing.
So it's a 308. It'll work in
It's a
308.
338 Lapua
Yeah,
projectile.
AR-10.
Wow.
It's
It's a 250 grain projectile. We also have a supersonic round
Wait,
for it.
250 fucking 250.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
What? Who needs that?
Bob
Holy
Faxon
shit.
came out with it. Yeah.
We're in the works with Faxon Firearms right now on getting this.
So would that be
going.
classified as a subsonic?
We have we have it in
Would
super
that-
too. What
And you-
grain's the super?
Yeah, so the subs, the 250 grain, I believe the supers is maybe the
308,
one
like it'll
90.
chamber.
So chamber of 308 or chamber of 300 win.
It'll be an
It's its
8.6
own
blackout
chamber.
barrel.
338 projectile.
it's
338 Lapua
very, very
projectile and
new
a 308
Stuffed
casing.
into,
So-
so it's
So hold on, I say you have to
Okay.
get a. I'm sorry, Phil. I just want to make sure.
No, you're
So
good.
No,
you
it's
have
probably
to
my
actually
bad, actually.
change the barrel to an
Yeah, I'm gonna
8.6
down
barrel.
rabbit hole.
It is its own caliber, yes.
What lowers will it go on?
AR-10.
So yeah, just
AR-10
AR-10 lower. You
Okay.
could run in a bolt gun. And Faxon's making these firearms right now.
And they're shooting big critters at really long distances.
I believe they killed an antelope with with the subsonic round at 650.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the terminal velocity or the terminal damage, like ours starts tumbling right at that regular 3 to 4 inches, is just insane. I mean, he came out with a good round. Weird thing is, it's a 1 in 3 twist.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's very
And
unique.
it's still accurate. You said
it's not even
650.
spinning, is it?
it's going
Have you
psycho.
found any that have just come out? That's not a big twist for going 650.
No, that's a lot.
meters.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
it's
have you-
weird.
Have you had
Like
any issues with it tumbling wrong or not being accurate? Or you just
no,
you're just
crazy
starting?
accurate. You can't overspin copper. That's the beauty of copper.
Right.
Is you can go as fast twist as you want, sometimes it'll wobble like not the 6'8", he's got it, or 8'6", he's got it perfectly balanced, but like some guys are buying faster spins from, or getting custom faster spins to shoot out like 3,000, 4,000 yards because it'll be a little bit wobbly when it comes out, but then you still got those RPMs down range and it stabilizes.
Farther.
Yeah. So when you go transonic, you're more stable. But yeah, I could go on forever.
Yeah,
about that.
and I know you guys got to teach a course.
What time do we?
We're running out of time here, so.
We got. See, that's the problem with me too. We got We got to 2:30. Right now it's 2:00. Well, we got to 2:15. Then we got to do our.
Whatever you want to do. I
No,
want to
no,
make
2:15
sure.
cameras?
Yeah,
I
good.
might bail at 2:15 because I'm
Yeah,
hungry.
he's hungry.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll give it another 15 minutes for
I
that.
think with talking about this, I think this is just for me. Who's making? Is Proof making the? Which barrel makers?
Faxon.
Faxon does
makes
make the
the
barrels, so
barrels.
they make
Yeah,
everything.
they
And
make
I'm not real
awesome
familiar with
barrels.
Faxon. I'm really.
I don't know
So
how much-
Faxon, yeah, we'll bring you on as. Come on, we need a sponsor. Come on, bring it on. But I'm not familiar with Faxon.
So I met Bob probably. Oh, sorry. I'm easily distracted. I met Bob about 8 years ago, and we weren't even talking about all this stuff, but we were talking about copper and TUI and all that, and we just both got busy and went our separate ways. And then just recently he started talking to us again because he's interested in our projectile. But and I don't know how much I can release, but he does a lot of like government stuff, and his machining abilities are absolutely mind-blowing, so I really trust
Does
his
he have a
his
web
gear.
page? Does Faxon have a web page or anything
Probably.
where people can sign up for alert? Like we get, that's I think
Yeah.
that's always a benefit if you want to follow.
And they're
somebody.
not a sponsor or anything, but he's just a solid dude. Is why
We
I
can
wanted to
sponsor
plug
us.
him.
I got no problem with that. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Cool. He might call me later and be like, "What are you doing?" But yeah, no, the 8.6 is crazy cool, and even though going clear down to like the 5.7, it's crazy cool too. I'm really hooked on that round, and we like killing big things that you shouldn't be able to kill with ethically, but our round is so much more damage. Like all the bears in here have been killed with handgun rounds, and
So one thing I want to hit on, because I know we've been talking a lot about killing.
It's the
we're-
ethicalness
Yeah, we're
of
not
it.
wound up about just killing stuff. To
Exactly.
kill stuff. So with our product, we want to be able to kill something as fast as we can, ethically as possible.
And you're doing it within regulations, within
yeah.
hunter regulations,
Correct.
permits, and because that's you're.
well, they're rewriting the laws. Like
And-
Kansas added TUI to the law
Yep.
because of how effective it is.
Okay.
Yep, and
Yeah.
so that's our thing. So I just want to get that point across: is we have extreme respect for every animal that we hunt. We're not killing to just kill them for footage and testing or
Yeah, yeah.
whatnot.
They're still getting emails though.
Yeah.
No matter how right you say it, you're still gonna make
always
somebody
gonna be-
mad.
Well, that's the woke. That's the ridiculous of society and how people are now. Because most of them, they have no clue.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what I've been around weapons all my life, being around, learning to shoot when I was 6, and hunters actually have more efficacy than damn environmentalists.
Yeah, and we
Well,
can, we can
and
dive into that.
Two
and-
points on that real quick. Like R380 will put a bear down more humanely than anything in nature will, than disease, starvation, an animal attacking it, whatever. So there's that, but also a lot of people don't realize that hunters pay a lot of money to government to buy the tags, and then the government protects the public land and the hunting and stops poaching. Hunters have saved more animals from extinction than anything else. People paying, and I know this is extremely controversial, so if people get mad, don't blame Tonto, blame me.
Don't blame me. I don't give a
But,
shit. I got
like-
a lot of people that don't like me.
But like,
It comes
for
with territory.
example, lion hunting, people get really bent out of shape about that. That's produced more money to protect lions from extinction than anything else.
Not poaching. That's the
Legal
people confuse.
hunting,
They think
yes.
it's and it's not. They
It's
have no
not.
clue.
You buy a
Environmentalists don't have an
tag,
idea.
that tag's money goes to the government to help set up environments and breeding programs and all this so these animals' populations can grow and that people don't hunt too many of them and so you can chase poachers. But if you get rid of the demand, the supply is going to go away too and the animals will go extinct.
And
Yeah.
Teddy Roosevelt, it was a great representation of
best.
conservation. Probably the best dude out there that we've ever had for wildlife preservation.
But so
I got to see his house when I
know
was
that.
younger.
Did you?
Being a Long Island guy, like so, yeah.
I
He's
say,
got
yeah,
it's like this, but, with all the animals. so.
Gage, that's what I want. I know I was actually going to pan over to you, but you already said it. What else can you add aside from the Teddy Roosevelt comment about Because I think that's important. People, ridiculousness. Activists. I hate that shit. I hate it. I can't stand activists. I can't stand all that because they don't have a clue of what they're
Yeah,
being
that's the thing,
activists
and-
against. They
and
have
when-
no idea.
Animals eat animals. Why can't I eat
Yeah.
animals?
Exactly.
Many people don't understand, but I mean that's just one of the greater skills out there that you could possibly have for when fit hits a sham.
I've never heard that.
Being able to,
Provide for yourself.
yeah, it's a great skill. I think everyone should know how to gut a deer, clean a fish, all that stuff. So, but yeah, I mean that was just my point I wanted to get across is we love hunting, we love everything about it, from the prep work to eating it.
And
Everything in
Andy
between.
has to
And
do
I love
the
that you guys
emails
prepping
and-
it so I can eat it too because I don't want to. I can, but I don't want to. I don't have to. Give me
But
those
no,
back
I mean,
straps and you guys do it for me.
He's also saying it because he has to deal with all the emails
Yeah.
from the stupid
Right,
stuff I
right.
say.
If one thing that we preach here on and about like and being in the 2A community, 2A community loves nature more than your damn environmentalists out there. We
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
We love even last night being out last night, full moon out, night vision, stars out, beautiful day. We're out there at night shooting. It was gorgeous. Do we ever want that to go? Hell no, I don't want to go.
We don't want our grandkids only knowing parking lots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, it's yeah. Hey, take it to them. Take it to the people that are sending emails. This is what we got. This is your platform, and they need to hear it because they're not hearing it enough because mainstream media ain't going to put that shit out there because it doesn't make them money. They love getting the woke community all spun up because it makes them money, and then it also tries to push agendas that idiot leaders that. I'm not saying who, but idiot leaders that sometimes are in charge.
And a lot more relevant, Teddy Roosevelt is Steven Ranella. Like, that man knows his stuff, and if you're ever interested in more of like this kind of talk, he has a ton of podcasts out there. Not trying to get people away from your podcast.
No,
I
I mean,
feel it.
there's so many podcasts out there to listen to. So yeah, what were you saying? Phil?
I've never heard of that gentleman, but I'll have to track him
Yeah,
down.
Meat Eater is his.
We need it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
like
I've heard of
watching
that one.
him.
Yeah,
The-
yeah, yeah.
I want to make a point about the photonist too with that because a lot of people are like, that's unfair. Like, why would you use night vision on an animal that doesn't know the difference between dog food and an animal? It's a more ethical kill. If I can see that animal safely, if I can watch that animal safely, if I can get a good shot, then the animal's not going to suffer. The animal's not going to run off and die 3 days later.
No.
It's just blink, lights out. That's why that kind of stuff is actually good.
Yeah, a note is pigs and coyotes are about the only thing you can kill under night vision and thermals. Keep that in mind.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
laws.
follow your game.
Don't go
Yeah.
hunting Bambi with night vision. You'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But that
In
doesn't-
every state, is that?
No,
Pretty-
there is a lot of
much.
states that will allow you to hunt
Okay.
the deer category. I don't know them off the top of my head, so I'm not going to spit them out there. But
So no night vision, no spotlight.
yeah, for the
I
vast,
understand.
vast majority of states, yeah, don't
But
shoot
that's not
deer in
because it's
thermal.
unethical. It's because they're controlling the population numbers. If they needed,
But yeah.
if they wanted you shooting more of them because they were way overpopulated, they would open it up to that. If they didn't, they would back it off, and that's how they control those numbers. So that if they're overpopulated, they're not getting disease and dying.
Yep.
You got to control those numbers.
I'm glad we got into that because I think that's important. I don't think we've really gotten into the efficacy of hunting on this show, but we have a ton of hunters, as you always say, fishers, all those type of people, outdoor enthusiasts. What we always say in the Photonist ads and FSM. So, unless there's anything else, because I know you guys got to teach
I
your
know,
course.
one
So
last
I'm the
thing.
one trying to wrap things up.
You're
so.
good. I just wanted to touch up because we talked about night vision and we can make it quick. Phil, Gage, and Ryan. We didn't talk about IR lasers. Now,
Yeah.
photonists, have you guys started making IR lasers at this point? If not, and because I want people to spend their
I
money
know
wisely.
nothing about 'em.
Wisely, we
That's why
saw
I'm
we
taking the
saw a lot
class.
out there. You know, honestly, I always give Gage shit because Halosun. I don't know why. Halosun makes good stuff. But is there, night vision costs money. Got to have an infrared laser as well, or a passive night vision on your optic. Just quickly, what's something you'd recommend for hunters? Military and DoD, you don't have to worry about it because you're going to get the L3s and all that other
I think this
Wilcox and all that
Phil's
other.
category, but yeah, all the name
I think
brands.
I've seen Halosun works well for hunters. It's very inexpensive.
It's
for
actually
an IR.
honestly a great budget
Like,
IR
yeah.
laser.
I
It's
agree.
not a full power laser, but
But if you can
definitely
afford
works.
Wilcox,
Yeah.
and that Wilcox is the high end stuff, and hopefully one day you guys will start.
Yeah, I
making
would say
IR
that.
lasers.
Yeah, the next thing if you got night vision would just be a NV compatible optic, even before you go to the laser, right? So
You take
that way you can
Vortex, all
passively aim.
Passive.
And then, yeah, when your wife lets you sock away a little more money, then jump on a laser. And yeah, Holosun makes it actually a pretty good product for the
I
money.
was very
so the
impressed
value's
with how
there.
well it was working on
And
Ryan's.
then,
That was your gun, right? Ryan was using?
I
Right.
think it's right.
But if you
Everything
want
runs.
to, if you want to spend a lot of money, like B.E. Myers, Wilcox make tremendous lasers, and then Steiner makes a great laser, price-wise, right middle of the road. Between the Holosuns and Wilcox.
It's just
B. Myers,
important.
yeah.
We are ethically responsible. We also are monetarily responsible on the Battle Line podcast. We try. And I said, like I've learned from Phil, especially since he's been at Photonis. Just because you're paying more for night vision doesn't necessarily mean it's better. I've learned a lot from Gage on the hunting side with infrared lasers. Just because you're paying more doesn't mean you're getting a better laser. You can save money and still get something that you can use well. And who doesn't like saving money, especially when milk and gas is $7 a freaking gallon? Milk is Walmart milk's like $6. Come on, guys, start voting, right? You guys knock that crap off. Walmart, I'm paying $40 extra every time I go to Walmart. And that's here in Fort Scott, Kansas. So, all right, that's my 2 cents on that.
Who'd you vote for?
Really, do you need to know that?
I'm gonna get myself in trouble.
Nah. I voted for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I figured it.
Really,
I voted for Kanye.
Oh man, honestly, I know we got, but good stuff we got into, and I do. I think because of what we talk about on with tactics but this stuff is.
You guys' next class,
is on
are you
the
gonna
hunt.
have rentals?
Are we gonna have rentals on the next class?
That was huge for me getting to.
Well, that's the question I would have asked.
Oh, I guess it's
No, not ours. The one out of town. Where was you said you have?
Oh, Kiefer.
Yeah.
I got fired. Great guy.
We'll have to look at the sign up.
I
I mean,
hope
hopefully
I
they
didn't
don't
throw you
need
under the
any
bus.
rounds.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody's got their.
Trying that out though was like
Well,
game
I know,
changer.
but
for me.
we'll definitely
I'm
have some
I'm
there
a
to
rookie
try.
at night vision and like.
we will bring some because I need to
we're
buy
gonna
It's like
some.
ships. Now I'm going to be wasting all my money and getting yelled at when I go home. But
Well, that's also why at SHOT Show, and we were going to talk about SHOT Show with you a little bit, but like,
yeah.
people got to go to the Photonis booth because you have the demonstration there, and people can see that it's not just us talking about it. I mean, operators like Navy SEALs who we've had on, I'm trying to think of, from Michigan, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Sheehan, Justin.
Oh yeah, Justin Sheehan,
Yeah,
and
great
other
dude.
guys have seen the difference. So at SHOT Show, if you're there, if you're in the industry, you really only be there if you're in this
Sheehan's
industry.
still working, still consulting.
Sheehan works for Kuiu.
Yeah,
And when we've got a couple soft guys that we'll use as
But if you're
consultants
there-
as needed basis.
yeah. If you're there, check
Yeah.
out the Photonis booth, do the demonstration, check out the Fort Scott booth, of course.
Scott booth, yeah.
And I should throw out there. So follow Phil on Instagram at NOC Works. Follow Photonis at Photonis Defense.
Primarily Photonis Defense.
Yeah, follow Photonis Defense. Maybe it's not, people know that's you. We've tagged
Right,
you.
right.
You can follow Ryan at 100
now.
Yard Sniper, the number 100 Yard Sniper on Instagram. Do you Gage? Can
Gage has
people
his
follow
own,
you?
yeah,
Yeah. Gage Wilson.
So at Gage Wilson, at Fort Scott Munitions, of course. It's just I'm remembering off the top of my head. It's just Fort Scott Munitions
my
spelled out,
channel
right?
I'm just goofing off. His channel's actually really cool, but yeah, it's Fort Scott Munitions, and there's a fake one we've been trying to get rid of. It's not ours.
Yeah,
That happens
but it has
all the
the
time.
TM too. Yeah,
It's got the
that's
TM.
you
It's not
guys.
real.
That's you
No,
guys.
it's not
That's
real.
how I was wondering.
Ours will be very active. You'll be able to tell the difference. If
A lot more
you're
followers.
And
familiar
even
with
with all the
social media.
shadow banning, you guys are up to 35K, man.
Dude, it
Yeah.
drives me nuts. I'll sit there and hit hearts, and they can watch them disappear.
Dude, you know me. You've watched my.
Don't get me started.
You've seen my.
I'm like, they at least got to be a little more
He's
sneaky
called
about
me.
this.
He's like, I don't mean to get you spun up, but they're shadow banning your account again. I'm like,
Again.
well, then why
It's
are
like
you
every
telling
3
me? Because
Yes.
you know they're going to get spun up.
And I mean,
just don't tell me.
It's happened to us when I repost Fort Scott stuff because
Yep.
we get in trouble for gun sales even though we've never sold guns. So I mean, I think on our Facebook we can't even have ads. Our
Should we get on
Facebook
Twitter?
we're unable to promote ads. I'm on Twitter.
Battleline
Battleline
Podcast
Podcast
is
is
on
on Twitter
Twitter.
at
Is it?
Battleline Pod. Yeah.
I mean, I think you guys would probably, with what's going on, would be
Or should we do
beneficial.
truth?
No, I think why not do both?
I'm poking. I better let you guys
A very
go.
great alternative to YouTube that we have been using a lot through Fort Scott Munitions is Rumble.
Yeah.
They're good.
But as of right now, we're just on YouTube just because the amount of time to just upload it to all these platforms.
There's a-
Find us on YouTube.
There's a copy
Yeah.
thing.
All right, we'll figure
We'll
it
show
out.
you that later, but there's a way to copy your YouTube stuff onto Rumble.
We'll figure it out,
Yeah.
man. But thanks for checking this out, guys. Appreciate it. I know we got to wrap up here. And as always, follow us wherever you're listening. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Leave your comments. All that stuff is appreciated. And yeah, this is the first time we've done this here in Fort Scott. And we appreciate you joining us.
That's all for this episode of the Battle Line Podcast. But we'll be back on Monday with more American Straight Talk. Until then, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Battle Line Podcast and on Twitter at Battle Line Pod. To sign up for future Battle Line tactical courses, go to www.christantoparanto.net. Believe in yourself, face all challenges head on, and as always, never quit.